that little witch. Is that what you said about me? You just called me a little...
It's the witch with a capital B, I think.
Oh, you have a good memory. You have a really good memory. All right, first of all...
I have to tell you, I'm watching that going, I don't really remember that. And then I went, oh, yeah, I do, because it was like 2 a.m, and I was blowing spit bubbles shortly thereafter.
Yeah, because you would fall asleep on the set, and she would make spit bubbles in her sleep, and I would pop them, and it would wake her up. And you know what I remembered so much about that scene, which was really kind of hard to watch, because it was just, I remember, first of all, I had a cold, so I was sick when we shot that scene. Can you hear it in my voice? The second thing is that you were so funny. We laughed our way through this whole thing because when you said, I said, you can't walk. And you said, really? Watch me. Now you know what I'm going to say. And you get out of the bed and you remember the kind of walk that you practiced.
I did my little hip check thing with the hip going this way and that way.
You did.
Because I had a broken pelvis, didn't I?
Yes, you had a broken pelvis from the train accident. Of course, all this is it's just like real life, right? So we laugh over this because, we used to think, and now look at life. It's so much more dramatic and ridiculous than this, right? I mean, we're like, who would this ever happen to in real life? Now look at the world.
Never write a global pandemic about this.
I don't know, but it's great to see you. You look so great. You look beautiful.
Oh, as do you, sweetheart, as do you.
I know you're on the East Coast.
I am. I'm on the East Coast, and
yep.
This is like almost spit bubble time for me.
I know. You usually go to bed at 8, and when I asked her to do this show, I said it doesn't start till 9. I know that's past your bedtime, but so she agreed to do it, and I'm so thrilled because you have a lot of fans here with you have a lot of fans here in our room, and that loved One Life to Live and loved you on it, and of course I've loved you forever. You know that. I watched you when you were on The Doctors, and I was on a show called Texas at the time. That was 1979, 1980. And I just thought you were the greatest actress. I just thought you were the greatest. I never imagined that I'd get to be your partner in crime, literally, one day.
Oh, my God, and have food fights over Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And my favorite moment is what we did for the Christmas reel when I had you on the ground and said, who's your mama?
And it wasn't who's your daddy?
You are.
You are. Oh, that's right. You are. I would say you are. Loved. I haven't seen you in 10 years. Oh, there he is. He's part of the plant now.
Yeah, he's part of the plant now.
That's right.
I was thinking, because how long have you and Todd been married?
Well, we've been together. We're going on 12 years, if you can believe that. Time has just...
That I can, but when I saw you just before you got married.
9 years ago.
I quit. That's the last time I saw you.
Last time I saw you. 9 years. That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. Because we saw each other almost every single day.
And night. You spent the night at our house.
And night. And I spent the night. The night in. Yeah.
At the night in. That's right. Okay,
at the
so
night in, and then we would share apartments and.
Yeah, we did.
Wow.
We had good times, let me tell you. So
the most popular question is, what was the most epic Lindsay and Nora fight?
What was the most epic Lindsay and Nora fight? That's a question there.
Well, I don't know. You just saw one that I had kind of forgotten. I remember now being up against that fireplace. I think we were about 1 a.m. at that point. We'd done 30 scenes that day?
Yeah, it was insane. I do remember it being subhuman, like the
30 scenes, and it was just, both of us just kind of going out of our minds at each other, which is kind of usually what happened when the two of us got together.
I think
I finally got out of that flowered yellow room that I got...
I remember I said, I can't act in here with the flowers on the wall, and it's so distracting. I mean, but you know what? I think that was the most intense that we ever had. We had a lot of intense scenes, but the thing that was really fun was...
We had a lot.
Huh? What was that?
I said we had a lot.
Oh,
we had the food fight.
Yeah, well, lots of those.
We had the trash compactor.
The trash compactor. Oh, my gosh. when we ended up in the giant trash bin.
In the giant trash. I walked in on you and I can't remember whether he was Troy or Colin at the time. Troy.
You know, that's the beauty
nobody needed to see anybody at that angle.
That's right. But the thing is that that's right. We used to joke about how when you're young, oh, never mind, this is a family show. I'm not going to go there.
It's a family show.
I know, but well, it's sort of a family show. I'm always on Todd about his language, so I can't go there with that because that was our naughty nightclub act. Nikki Luongo, this was really funny. She said, "This is like this chick version of Misery." I think that that's a really good way of putting it. And I actually thought the same thing today when Ryan sent me these clips to watch. I was like, oh my gosh. Do you realize that those scenes were 2020, that was 2000, so it was 22 years ago? Is that possible? Is that possible?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is.
It had to have been because it was the original Sam at that point, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes. So people, I mean, when I saw the 2020, I thought, how can this be? Like for me, it doesn't seem possible that much time has gone by.
It just doesn't. I don't feel like that much time has gone by. My children were little, living at home at that point. I have a grandson now.
That means you're old. Me, I stayed the same.
Wait a minute.
Wait.
He was your boyfriend that didn't wait for you and now has gotten married and has a child.
I used to tell her son Phipps I gave him like $5 and told me to call me when he grows up, because by the time, remember it was a quarter to make a phone call back then, so I figured that would be good. He'd have enough money. But now we don't have those kind of phones anymore. A lot has changed. A lot. But people love
Amazing.
you so. People love you, and I just think that you are one of the finest actresses.
Honey.
Well,
I was
period.
a big Capitol fan, so I used to watch you on Capitol and all the things that you did. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was really fun. And then you came into the dressing room and it was like, are you ours? Do we get to keep you? You get to play here?
Yes.
And it went from there.
Yeah.
I do remember the day that I looked at you and went, you just got to trust me. Look at me and trust me and we'll go there together.
Yep.
And you were like, okay, here we go. And we did.
And I remember you saying this to me as well. I'm really good at learning lines. I know my lines backwards and forwards. I probably know yours too. So do your best to keep up, or you're just going to get left behind. And I'm like, what a bitch.
Did I actually say that to you?
Basically, but you want to know something? I totally loved it, because when you are playing like tennis, you're never going to get better at something if you don't have a great partner to play off of, right? So, I felt like I hit the jackpot with you, because I admired your work so much, and that I would get to act with you every day, and how much better that would make me, because I had to rise to the occasion of your gifts.
Well,
and that's
baby.
how I felt, so so I was really excited. And the question I think I get asked the most by people out in the world is, are you still friends with Nora? People ask me that even today, all the time. Are you and Hillary, or are you and Nora still friends? Like it's so funny. It's I just feel so lucky to have been in a story that lasted. We had more chemistry than you and I had with any of the actors on the show. So
ain't that the truth?
Yeah, I mean, we just really had good chemistry with each other, and I think that part of the joy of going to work when you work every day like that, and what a blessing that is. But just being able to be with somebody that you trust 100%, that you're going to have fun with, that no matter how hard the day was, you were going to be just fine. Because I had a good partner. So I
felt the same way.
Yeah, it was great.
The exact same way. And the things that we did and how we laughed, and we just kind of went, okay. My favorite though was, oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
So I stopped getting posts. So I'm going to need to lean on you, Liz, for questions because I'm not seeing the messages.
Favorite memory from As the World Turns for Hillary?
Your favorite memory on As the World Turns.
Oh, I had a lot of them on As the World Turns. Oh, I can't even begin to put it down to one. I mean, I worked with some incredible people on As the World Turns, and I loved, Justin Dees. He could put more into one word. Benjamin Hendrickson.
Oh, yeah. I saw him play the Elephant Man on Broadway, and I thought he
Ugh,
was incredible.
he was a beautiful, beautiful actor and a beautiful, beautiful person. And he just was lovely. I remember having morning sickness at the studio, and he would hold my hair back as I was having morning sickness, going, I don't understand why anyone does this.
And you did it twice.
And I did it twice, and he was there both times. He was lovely. He was just a lovely, lovely person. And Scotty Holmes, but Greg Marks. Love my Greg Marks.
So do you think Greg Marks? Where is Greg Marks today? I love Greg Marks.
In LA.
Yeah.
He stays in touch with me.
Oh.
We stay in touch with each other, and when I get a chance to see him, I do. And he comes to New York, I get a chance to see him. He performs now. He sings. He's got that voice.
Oh, yeah.
God, that
Oh,
voice.
yeah. It's such a nice person. I really liked him a lot.
Oh, he's just a gem. He's just a lovely person.
And Scott Bryce. Scott Bryce is another
Patty
actor.
B.
Where is that? He's in LA, right?
No, he's in Connecticut, and he actually has been doing a lot of work. You'll see him on shows that shoot in New York, but he also is doing his own studio stuff in Connecticut.
Oh, that is awesome.
So, yeah, he's great. He's great. So smart. Married to Jody, who is phenomenal, and their child is like beyond brilliant.
And are you in touch with, or do you ever see anybody from One Life to Live?
Every now and then I'll call Woodsy, and we'll catch up, and
yes,
he'll rant and rave and tell me where he's moving to, and then a year later I'll call him and say, and he goes, yeah, still here. So
yeah, they're in
Jim DePaiva.
Oh yes, are they in California or New York?
They're in New York. They were in upstate New York, and I still do It Girls on the Stoop with Crystal Chappelle. As a matter of fact, we have a new season coming out.
Now, how can people watch that? I don't understand.
On Vimeo.
On Vimeo. Okay,
on Vimeo.
I'm a Vimeo girl.
Actually, I think our first season's on YouTube, and it's of all people would appreciate it. Our first season, first episode, I wet my pants on camera.
So you were on camera, not just behind the camera.
Oh yeah, on camera. The two of us were cooking, drinking, and laughing.
Oh.
And it's really fun. And we're called the It Girls on the Stoop, doing things stupid simple.
Oh, that's so great. And Crystal,
yeah,
does she still live on the Central Coast?
Yes, she does.
Yep.
Still lives there.
Yep.
And she still produces Venice. Venice is our flagship.
How many years have you been doing that show?
Oh gosh, I think we just finished season 6, 5.
Oh no, I think it's more.
And I think she's doing. Is it more 7?
Oh, I think it's getting to be like 9. I mean, it's been on a long time.
Yeah, and she's actually got one more season, but I'm not going to be involved with it. But she's got another season going, and it's quite good.
Well, I'm trying to think. I'm looking to see if I got my feedback here so I can see what is going on. Hi, Anna Papa Georgiou. No, I have not gotten my feedback. So if you see it.
Good. And
okay, we have a good question.
Any injuries that you actually incurred from your fight scenes?
Oh, did we incur any injuries from our fight scenes? Do you know?
Oh, I think we did, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. But if you remember, I was supposed to go on vacation. I just finished doing Pieces off Broadway, and I was leaving to go on vacation the next day. But I went to clean out my dressing room at the theater, and my back went out, and I ended up on the floor. And I'd never had that happen to me before. I'd never had back problems. And so I went to pick up a box of playbills, and it wasn't even that heavy. I was using my knees. I don't really know what happened, but I went down, and I could not move. I mean, they literally had to come and pick me up and put me in a car and take me home and take me up to my apartment. And I had to cancel the vacation. And I hadn't taken one in years and years, so I was really sad about that. But I laid in bed for 2 weeks, and I had to come back to work. And our first scene that we had was at the Red Dress, the Red Ball, or Go Red, or what? And we had the Heart Ball, and we had a fight scene. And it was on the floor, and it was standing up.
With a scrap of paper.
Yes, yes, yes. And I was in so much pain because that was my first day back up on my feet. And so I remember being injured and and we had to kind of re-choreograph everything because whenever we had fights, they would bring in literally a fight choreographer like Danny Aiello Jr. and the third, and he would, come in and help us. It was so bad. But yes, you're always going to, get bumped and scraped when you fight as much as we did. I mean, I don't remember us getting, hurt very badly. I didn't get hurt on camera as much as I got hurt off camera.
Off camera.
Like falling down the stairs to the dressing room and me going like this. God. And the Brian going, do you want to fill out paper? I'm like, no. Fill out the paperwork because I still to this day have back problems from that fall, so I was like, fill out the paper. And I fell down the stairs at Elvis's Graceland too.
Do you own Graceland? I didn't know you owned Graceland.
I didn't, but because I'm not
you didn't fill out the paperwork, did you?
No, but what happened was they have cameras everywhere in Graceland, and so they saw me tumble down the stairs, and it's a long ass ride to the bottom of the stairs.
When was this?
This was I don't know, maybe 9 or 10 years ago. And by the time I got up and dusted myself off, I was hearing birds like, it was like I was really like out of it. But they were flying around, put a little robe over my shoulders. And then they said, "Oh my God, are you all right?" And they had the paperwork, and they were right there. And I'm not a litigious person, I just don't get that when people just sue over anything. People have gotten to be afraid of each other in this world because that's so bad. It hurt, but, I didn't. Today is Elvis's 87th birthday, by the way, Hillary.
He doesn't look a day over 86.
And you want to know something? You haven't lived until you've gone to Memphis on an Elvis anniversary because they have Elvises from all over the world. They had one from Japan. I called him Jelvis. There was African American Elvis. I called him Blelvis. There were Elvises from every corner of the earth, color, type, sizes. It was fantastic. But I would be like, look, there's Chelvis. That was the one from China. But it was like everywhere.
I was out staying at the Universal Sheraton one time, and we all know where that is. And I was doing a pilot of some kind. And anyway, so I'm in the bar area, and the bar area, Telly Savalas's place was in the back. You remember Telly Savalas?
I remember it, yes.
Yeah. But you could see everyone checking in, and I'm there with Lindsay, your neighbor lady,
yes,
and Joel, and with the three of us are sitting there having drinks at the bar, and we keep looking over, and every time we look over to the front desk, there's an Elvis, someone who looks just like Elvis checking in, and we're like, oh my God, doesn't that guy look just like Elvis? And then cut to like a few minutes later, oh my God, look at him. He looks just like Elvis. And then there were like 3 of them standing there, and they were like all looked just like Elvis. And then one guy came in a whole white leather suit, and they were shooting Leaving Las Vegas. And so all the Elvises were checking
oh my gosh.
to the Universal Sheraton, and we're sitting there going, are we missing something? Should we? There's nothing but Elvises checking into this hotel.
And where was this? What city were you in?
Los Angeles.
And they were shooting, because I thought they shot a lot of that movie here, actually.
Yeah, but I think when they were all jumping out of the planes, they
Yes.
shot that in LA.
Yeah, yep. We know, don't we know the guy that, I think I know the guy that has all the flying Elvises. He's here and yeah, so if you ever want to make a splash, you just have, 30 Elvises jump out of a plane and land in your yard. It's there's nothing like it. So what are you in Florida?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I can see. Now is that a real tree?
No,
No. Because
it's inside.
I can't even keep a silk plant alive. So if I try to keep a tree alive, you can forget it. I mean, like
I actually chose this spot so that you could see I was in Florida with the palm tree,
Yes.
and that I still liked martinis.
I thought about that when I was putting my makeup on. I was thinking how we loved our martinis back then.
Oh,
You know,
loved them.
and I actually we'd get off of work, and after a 15-hour day, you haven't had much to eat. We'd go across the street and have a steak and a martini. You remember this?
Well, we did when that place existed, and also when we didn't have to work the next day, because
No,
usually we were
no,
hobbling back to your house
Yes.
to
No.
learn, endless pages of dialogue for the next day. But yes, when we could, we
Yeah,
went right there
and
had a
then
nice big steak and a martini with a diving board.
yeah, I
on the
used to say,
glass.
just bring me a diving board. And we would just have one because one would wipe me out. But here's the thing. One night I went there without you. I went with Wayne, our hairdresser, okay? So
I saw Wayne. I saw
no
Wayne.
way.
Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
Okay, because I
Yeah.
want to hear about that. So Wayne Bellotti, who is great, he and I went across the street to the steakhouse, same one, and they said, your table's not ready. I said, okay. So I said, we'll wait in the bar. So I went in the bar, and I hadn't had much to eat that day, and I drank a martini, and they didn't call me, so we got another one, because we in New York you don't drive, right? So you don't have to worry about that. So then I had another, like a half a martini, which is I never have more than one drink because I can't handle it. I don't drink much because it doesn't take much. And so what happened was they forgot about us. So we sat at the bar, and so when they called for our table, I got up to go to get a steak at the table, but I couldn't walk. I was that gone because I had a martini and a half on an
honey.
empty stomach. And so I said to Wayne, I have to go home. I have to go home now because I'm very drunk and I don't feel right. I need to be home right now because, I don't drink. So when you drink a martini and a half, you're going to feel it. So I get in the cab downstairs, don't remember the ride home. The cab driver, when we got there, I'm so fortunate because if today this happened, it would be all bad. I got home and he got me out of the cab and he gave me to the doorman at our building. The doorman took me upstairs. All this over a martini and a half. But it was I don't remember any of the ride home, and all that scared me because that's never happened to me before, ever, ever, ever. Like when people say I don't remember, I'm like, what do you mean you don't remember? It's real. So I didn't go back there for a long time because it really was like not a great experience, but Wayne thought it was hilarious, like he did. He thought it was just the funniest thing he ever saw. He didn't get his steak that night either, so I don't know what was so funny. But, but the thing is, where did you see him? Where'd you see Wayne Bellotti?
He came to visit me. He came down here. He's in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah,
so
he's in Wilton Manors.
I said, come visit. So he did. He came down and he visited. And the day, we just had this glorious day. And then I said, stay, we're going to go out in this boat and have drinks. And he said, okay. So we went out in the boat and they decided it was going to be a full moon. And they said, we're going to stay and watch the moon. We couldn't leave the boat. We're in the middle of, the bay.
Yeah.
We're going to watch the moon rise. And I looked at him and I said, you're staying the night tonight. You're not driving home. He goes, oh no, Hillary, I really need to drive home. I went, no, you're not going home. And then he went, okay. So we just sat on the bow of this boat. We watched this full moon rise. We were having the best time. All the women on the boat loved him. One, it was like, oh, why don't you come down here and open a shop down here? And anyway,
he
stayed the night, and the next day we had some breakfast, and then he had to go back because he had appointments, and we vowed we're not going to let too much time go again. let's get together. And of course, then COVID hits, and we
Yeah.
haven't seen each other since.
Well, I may just show up on your doorstep one of these days and surprise you because
Okay.
it has been way too long. Um, that's right. People were asking me what type of martinis. They were vodka martinis, dirty with olives, and they were big. That's all I can say is yes. And someone said that could have been really dangerous. Yes, it could have been, and today it would be a disaster. But you know what? You'll never know the bad you missed. I always say that because there's so many times in life where, we have no idea what harm we just avoided that could have befallen us, but we had a guardian angel or the Lord was looking after us. You'll never know the bad you missed. I always say that. You just don't, because people sometimes say, oh, wrong place, wrong time. It's a second for things to change around us. Isn't that true, Hillary? It's a second.
That's so true. But just
And
love the
so
good you got.
love the good you got. So I don't do anything stupid like that anymore. I didn't even mean to do it stupid that night. It was just, they kept us waiting, and it tasted like water because it was good. It was a good vodka, and it was freezing cold, and I didn't realize. But anyway, we did have a lot of fun.
Oh, it had the little ice chips around the top of it with olives.
Oh, yeah. Peggy Delgadillo says, I love an extra dry, dirty martini with the extra olives. Laura McLean, I miss Catherine Hickland, both on my favorite soaps. I watched more than one. Aw. Maxine Moody is in Fort Lauderdale. She said that today was the Las Olas Art Fair. I used to go to that all the time when I was growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we have a lot of people in the room, and Jennifer Levy. Do you remember Jen Levy?
I saw Jen Levy not too long ago.
Yeah, she's here
Stay
tonight.
in touch with Jen.
Yep.
Yeah, I just had lunch or breakfast with her.
Yes, gosh, she's a great friend of the show. Amy Perkins is here. Joshua Dixon is here. Julianne Golden, hello. Seth Robichaud, that's me after 2 glasses of wine, yet I can handle martinis. Wine just makes me kind of curl up in a ball and go to bed. There's nothing exciting about, that.
Yeah. Martinis make you feel like you're invincible and then you're invisible.
That is true. So, all right, so if I come down to Florida, do you have a place for me to sleep at your house?
Yes, I do.
Sweet,
Yes.
sweet.
So
I'd
come
love
on.
to. I do.
Come on down.
Do you know?
They're all saying you two need to do a show if you go down.
You want to know something? We used to do a show together, and we did it at the Comedy Club with Linda Rowe. It was in Long Island somewhere. And remember, we were trying out our material about getting older. And think about how much older we actually are now.
No.
Because we would talk about, things like when you get older, you're not, you can
Gravity finds you a little faster.
Yes, and you don't, you don't want to initiate, how do we say, being on top because everything would be just like, everything falls. Your face, your chest, everything. And I think about we were young when we were making these jokes, right? And about how you just pray that your husband doesn't ask you to get something out of the refrigerator, and you're laying there naked under a sheet, and you're like, oh no, I don't.
Or you're the one that has to get up and turn out the lights.
Oh, that it's the worst. You know what I mean? So. Yeah. Is it more fun to be a goody two-shoes or a bad girl?
Girls are always more fun. You had a ball being bad girl.
I did.
Good girls you have to pay attention when you're a good girl. You have to, you always have to make sure that because my natural instinct is not to be a good girl.
Yeah, and mine, that's so funny.
I had to kind of check my good girl, check my bad girl instincts outside when I would take on and kind of make sure that I wasn't a goody two shoes, that my integrity, I was a good girl because I was careful about my integrity and intelligence. And I tried really hard to make sure that that's what defined Nora, not just always doing the right thing, because she didn't always do the right thing.
Well, what's funny is that I spent way too much time worrying about what people would think. Do you remember that? I would be like, oh my God, I'm going to
Yes.
shoot you up with a memory erasing drug. People are going to hate me. I was always, when you play a bad girl or a character that's, does things to make people crazy, you're always thinking ahead. You're always thinking ahead like, how can I save myself here so that I don't get written into a corner and written off? That's the thing that you really get paranoid about when you play a bad character, is that you're going to get yours. And, I remember people were screaming for me to get mine with you. Screaming for me to get mine. Screaming for me to get mine. And then they put me in prison. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and they were pissed off because there was no more Lindsay for a while.
Well, no. They continued my storyline in prison because people were pissed I got sent to prison. And then they went in and my prison life was my new storyline. And I was
the
just
opera.
Yeah, but you're always thinking about that. Like, gosh, how am I going to redeem myself from this thing? And so you're, as a bad girl, you're always trying to inject humor into it so that people will like you. They will love to hate you instead of just hating you. It's a dance, and then you're always trying to stay 2 steps ahead of the people writing and producing so that you are still popular with the people and not. And so it would be a little tough getting written off. And when you're a good girl, it gets boring, to play a good girl.
Well, you just have to make sure that, as I said, you're just not a good girl. I mean, I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to be a good girl. I'm going to be a smart girl. I'm going to have integrity, and I'm going to have humor, and I'm just going to be a person that people like.
Yes.
And that puts you in good girl. And if you're a bad girl, then you have to be a person that people love to hate.
Yeah.
But at least understand where you're coming from. I played a stupid person on Bold and the Beautiful, and I remember sitting there.
I can't even imagine it. Can't imagine it.
I literally had a line where I said, "Don't worry, everything you say in this room is highly confidential." And then they cut to a microphone that was planted underneath the table. And that's when I looked and I went, and I'm done. And I was.
And I'm done.
End scene.
Someone's asking what our favorite movies are. Mine is probably, I like Field of Dreams and I like Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, those are 2 of
phenomenal.
my favorites.
But I love Elf.
Oh gosh, yes. Guess what? I finally saw Elf when Todd and I had COVID because there's nothing to do. So you sleep and then you watch TV, and we ran out of things to watch. So we went on a Will Ferrell bender because at least it would make us smile, because there's not much to be happy about when you're sick like that. Yes.
Isn't it the most joyous,
yes.
happy,
yep.
fabulous? Yeah.
Well, anytime a movie is about redemption of a human being, of, their, just them understanding something for the first time in front of the audience, like Kevin Costner understood his father for the first time, and Shawshank Redemption was the main story, it was, about these 2 people who found each other, and I love the end, of that, because they find each other again. And then the story of anything where a person is illuminated is always just a really great movie. So we picked, what's your favorite? Hillary, what's your favorite movie?
Oh, I loved Elf. Elf is one of my favorites. Shawshank Redemption, big in my books. Usually I find movies that I have to say, I watched Sicario. It's a little violent for me, but I really liked it because, again, it was a journey. I love watching people go through a journey.
Yeah.
And commit to the journey. And so from that standpoint, I love that.
All right. First of all, I want to thank you for coming on tonight because I just am.
Thank you for having me. It's so good to see you again, Puss Puss.
Puss Puss, it's good to see you too. We Billy Ray, looking good.
Lewis, looking good, Lewis.
Feeling good, Billy Ray. That's what we used to say to each other all the time. And I couldn't love you any more than I do. And I just, I received that kiss, and I just think everybody really enjoyed, seeing you tonight. And So we need to do something together. I think that would be a lot of fun. And Vicki Giddens
We'll come to Florida.
Vicki Giddens said, Todd, we missed you. And
I know. I'm sad that Todd wasn't there.
well, you know, Todd actually, it's amazing that he was able to. John couldn't come to run cameras tonight, and so we can't do the show. If Todd is up here, he can run the cameras from his computer.
We don't have any crew.
Oh my gosh! Here, let me give.
No, I don't need a mic.
Look,
There he
there he is.
Now, but you have to go to my,
Can you go to his cam?
well, yeah, she's got it.
But his cam is that one right there. But I don't know the number on the board. You have it?
You did, it was
Hi,
fun.
Todd. Thank you for taking such good care of my puss.
You guys are so good together. You guys should maybe do a TV show or something.
Well, I'll tell you what. You know, we were lucky because we were on.
Right. I just have to say it in your
Oh,
mic.
yeah.
No, I'll just lean forward.
Okay, hold on. Let me come over here.
We've talked about several times, bringing back your guys' show. And, I know they did it for a second, but I mean, we should snap up those rights. And,
Oh no,
and redo it.
ABC has them, and they're not letting them go because they're doing the.
Well, we should do a parody. Do a parody on it, then you don't need that.
Well, you know, we used to say, Hillary and I used to say, and you know what I'm going to say, right, girl? We used to say is, what goes on behind the scenes is far more interesting than what's going on camera.
Turn the cameras around.
Turn the cameras around. That's what we
What was
used
the
to
thing
say all the
Carrie
time.
did? What was that?
The show Carrie did?
The soap opera movie.
Oh,
Carrie
she did Soap Dish. Yeah, Soap Dish.
Yeah.
That is so interesting because Soap Dish was not that far off from the way really things are on a soap opera when people are together and there's 25 people under contract and you're all under one little roof, and it gets really gnarly sometimes. You know, people get. They go through their cycle or whatever, and you're like, chill out, and backbiting and all that. But that's what families do, sometimes. So it was very much like a big dysfunctional family. No, sit down because we're going to go now, and I want you to be able to say goodbye. But take this microphone because.
No, I'd have to go back and turn all that.
Oh, okay. So, but people.
I'm the only crew in the studio.
Yeah. So
Don's pushing buttons.
Don is pushing buttons. Liz, who you know, Liz Cochran. Hillary, you know Liz Cochran. If you saw her, you would know her. She moved to Vegas, and she is she's doing a producing job tonight. And so, we're all in here making it happen, even though we have no crew. But Todd had and probably still does have a really bad headache tonight. So for him to get up and help us was a very big deal.
It's okay. The show must go on.
That's right. We be in show business. Show business. The show must go on.
It's show business.
It's show business. That's right. So, girl, I hope I see you soon. Thank you for coming on tonight, and everybody just had a great time, and nobody had more fun than me. That's for sure.